What are you doing to like massage them and just give them that confidence? Seems to be, they seem to be evolving.
Okay, so we do a lot of reading. We read, and the last thing we read with this class was Gary Soto's Being Mean. And so what came out of that was an assignment where they had to write about a time that they were mean to someone, or they witnessed someone being mean to someone else, or someone was mean to them. And the focus was sensory details, imagery, writing and capturing that, and bringing the readers into that moment, that time. Just pick a moment in the story, and it's just, I don't know. I'm blown away by what comes out of these assignments.
And the student who wrote the short story, that was amazing. You said she took it away and it was like 17 pages. Yeah.
It's 17 pages. So now we're sitting down together and typing it out, and we're talking about dialogue, what that needs to look like, and how to describe what the person is doing when they're speaking. So I throw in a little bit of verbs and adverbs. So for me, it's an opportunity to throw in a little bit of that grammar too. So, and I'll say, let's see how other writers do that. Let's just open a book and let's see how they did it. It's just, wow. It's terrific. I love them.
Just like blown away with the assignments when that came in, when you read the first page.
Right here and shared that entire story with us. And this was one of the stories where everyone just stopped, couldn't move, didn't know what to say. So we do like a writer's workshop where they share, and the class gives feedback, and they share their thoughts. It's just open forum. And they do that when there's no one around, they do that really well. We have volunteers. We have a calendar with like 3 students on the calendar per day, and they're just like, it's my turn. But they get really shy when it comes to, having other people there. But she did great. She did really good. So I have another student who's waiting to share her work, but she's going to share her work not aloud, but I'm going to photocopy it and just take her name out because she wants to get that kind of feedback without anyone knowing that she wrote it. Her name is Idalis. She wasn't here today, but she's also an amazing writer. And she was one of my students last year, and she wrote this. I mean, some of the stuff that comes out of this room, I feel should not stay here. It should not stay in here. This cannot be the place where others must read it, others must know it, that this happened, and it needs to get out of here. Like, oh, let's open a window, let's get it out there, let's put it somewhere. It's
you about how they like sort of coach each other, because I noticed that you have students who are theater background, and you have students who are performers and writers all together in one classroom, and I noticed they give each other tips. So how do they work in teams? I want to know more about that. That's
actually the direction that we're moving in, where as teachers we're facilitators. Instead of standing in front of the classroom and teaching and talking to them, we're moving in the direction where we're allowing them to work together in their groups. So you may see around the classroom that there are each class, I have groups of students who are working on the same skill, and so that's how this class is organized, based on groups of students who are working on the same skill. And they give each other feedback. And I'm just a facilitator. And actually, it's funny that she walked right in, but I give it over. I hand it over to Shania. She gets up there. She's really good at, It's their class. So.
That's
I couldn't do this.
Wow, I couldn't not do this. I don't know what else. What would I do? Act? I get to do that every day. What would I do? I could not do this. What would I do?
Crazy. If I was doing this every day like this, like your job, I would go crazy, because I would be too hard.
You would be what?
I would be too hard on them. I would be so hard on them.
I'm kind of hard on you guys sometimes, but
I
remind them. I try to remind them.
I'd be like,
Are you hard today?
Coming from a place of love, that I'm
Yeah.
encouraging.
Yeah.
Well, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yes, I
You
was.
shook them up. That's what they needed.
I was hard today. I'm hard all the time. Because I won't take any shorts from them.
That's it. That's
You
what
know.
they need.
My
He teaches says that they were adults. But
Yeah.
some of the material you gave them.
They're 17, 18 years old. They're adults.
Yeah,
Like real material.
you have compassion.
I love it. I love them, and I love what comes out, what they share, what they give back. I live for that.
You have any kids of your own?
I have one.
How old
I have a
are
7-year-old.
you? So you really juggling, huh?
Yes.
That's a crazy time for that 7-year-old, huh? What a formative time for. It's a girl or a boy?
It's a girl.
And where did she go to school?
She goes to a Catholic school.
Close?
Yeah, close by. She does Catholic school. Yeah, not far from here.
Discipline.
Yeah, definitely.
Discipline.
Well, this is.
But I want to thank you so much. The time, the energy, and the love, and I thank you. I'm breathing. I love it. I'm so grateful that you're here to offer them something else.
But what's good about
And you're going to
this
make
is
sure
that-
some of the students get published.
Absolutely.
You want to hear it.
Yes.
I'd like to
I want to.
thank you because you are a jewel in the community.
Sure.
Coming here and seeing a teacher like you, I mean,
Passionate,
uplifts me
caring, loving.
because I'm so crushed by what I see in the kids, man. And to see you here
Yeah, it's
dealing with
exciting.
them like this, it's great for us that are outside of the
It's
system.
exciting.
Yes, it is.
And I never go into classrooms where they're prepared. Never. If I say somebody's name or I say imagery or I say, and then like, why should I be in a 10th grade honors English class somewhere? And I gotta get somebody to explain to me what imagery is or what scansion is, or, you know, and this is the exception. You know, this is the exception. It's like because I never have a lesson plan. I'm just like, okay, who wants to do what today? I just don't have it. I'm just improvising the entire time. But if you got somebody that knows, it's like the sheet music you are allowed to play off. It's like Duke Ellington as opposed to, you know, chopsticks. So they know.
Yes.
And I can look in their eyes and I know that they know. So I can actually stare somebody down like, you don't know this?
You know this.
Like, come on. Like, it's happened a couple of times. Like homegirl who asked about
Diamante. Katrina.
yeah,
Yes.
Katrina.
Right.
She knows, all right, so I guess her inability to use it more often. But if something that's like, oh, I know this, and I know most people don't know this, so that kind of, I got some information a lot of people don't have. But I could see her face when she said it, like, what's the name of that?
Yeah.
You know, and I was going to tell her, I said, no, she had to get it from you, so like, look at her, look at your teacher, all right, she'll make the connection, okay. Where are we going?
To the library.
Oh.
I think there's some
Thank you
students there.
again.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so
you.
much. Thank you. Thank you.
Say whenever you're ready.
Huh? Oh, this is called Timeless.
Tell me about the beach.
Oh, like the background?
Yeah, what you said to her yesterday. Well, I can speak.
Huh? Oh, well, I wrote this yesterday night. The poem's called Timeless. And what came, like how I started writing it was, there was a girl at my program who's always, like most of her raps or poems is like she talks about not having any parents, about how she lost people in her life and how so I just I was an overheard conversation, so I just started writing off that. I was writing something else on my phone and I'm like, oh God, like just all right. Protective fathers guard themselves from responsibility. Your fathers are pregnant, carrying the fetus of cowardice, knowing what was expected, but when delivery day came, another baby's life jigsawed from broken pieces, ejected another fatherless child. Mass deception infected the cure of prosperity, elixir of doubt, pieces of mama's heart, flowers planted, incoming drought. The soil has become permeable in her heart. Anger blooms to missing flowers of her bouquet. Her song echoes low tones. Why didn't he stay? Why didn't he stay? She hides pain between Oreo composition, notebook lines, sends subliminals throughout expressional faces. She wish her clock would decline, but she doesn't want to waste any more time. Melodies of betrayal write playbills throughout her spine. She's sick of the drama. One hot summer, she closed mouth sung, he called her his Hummer. Spent countless full moons trying to hump her. Instead he won her heart over. He broke out of his chains, released his pedals, and never rusted his cheap ass metal. He brightened up her day when he would roll in. Their love wasn't a fairy tale, but she felt love when she saw him and his steed strolling. Maybe my ghetto Cinderella has left her beef and broccoli Tims over his headboard that rocks over waving sheets, co-bonding elements, share sweat building up, stamina for round. She's not waiting for him to hit home run, but she waiting for him to run it into town. Love showered her, life swam in her unexpectedly, lifeless reality dormant in his belly. You're a coward, 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 coward. It echoes again. What would he know about having a baby? His chest hairs just grew in. I never should have fell for her. I just wanted to get in. She paces back and forth, so this is what she's thinking. But who told her to change paths? Boat sinking, no one to rock it or stop it. Stop it, stop it. How will she tell the prince she was fucking a nomad? How will the serfs feel? How will she raise a baby with the man she didn't love? It was just a few rounds of lust. She didn't know the condom would bust. She didn't love the steed. She loved baller. She didn't want a bum. She wanted a shot caller. Her legs were guns, a shooting revolver. Her legs were doors, Wall Street revolvers. Now she got two problems, don't know how to solve them. She ran off with her child, and when time came, she told her she had no father. He didn't love you. He hasn't even called, huh? What do you need him for? I'm all you have. But when mother's love expired, a kid just wants their dad. Add. Mother's love is sitting right, but tilting left of an unbloomed spirit, jagged heart filled at half mast. Her mother's love has expired. Fired. Countless full moons have passed, 16 birthdays have passed, missing conversations, uncomfortable kisses on the forehead have never been felt. They've passed, passed. Mama's jigsaws have never been finished, missing placement, Tetris became the game. Passed. The phone rang, shaky hands, tears roll, thunderous roars cloud her mind. Her mom rocks in the arms of the heavens. When mother's love expires. Sometimes a kid just needs a dad. Yeah.
Last night?
Yeah.
You know what's different about, you'll be able to relate to this actually. You got a bunch of different schools of poetry happening now in the world. There's a lot of young adults that are writing poetry. I mean a lot. All over the country. Schools, community centers. And there's two schools of thought, and it's almost like what Charlie Parker and them were doing, and what everybody else was doing.
Okay.
And they couldn't do what Parker and them were doing because they didn't have the skills.
They weren't feeling.
So what she's doing, what you just heard, is more from that Charlie Parker school. Not that I'm saying she's listening to Charlie Parker or anything, but they have this wonderful technique, but they've also been kind of like breastfed on hip-hop pablum, so there's this warp speed that's involved with it, and this creation of new metaphors, you know. it's the life that they live. It's not slow and syrupy and stiff and elbow patch poetry, which they're taught in the schools.
Yeah.
All right, they learn technical things from that school, but they didn't incorporate the energy of the city, the darkness of their lives. So much of it is based around the politics. All right, the crazy sexuality that's going on. It's all incorporated. As you notice when she would do the recurring theme or the reprise or the echo to transition from one thought to another, that's a device. That's like a device. So how does a 17-year-old have a device where, okay, I'm going to transition from this thought and this image to this one, but I'm going to take the word past and I'm going to repeat it 3, 4, 5 times to let everybody kind of like, let that simmer with them when I just said past. But also they know so she's going somewhere else now. She's getting ready to change up on us. So these are like really brilliant technical things. It's not taught. That part of it's not taught. They pick that up from listening to hip hop or watching movies or what's happening in the street or listening to the subway tracks. So it's just amazing. I hear people incorporate not being able to hear the conductor on the subway, so they'll muffle their voice, like literally, so saying you can't hear them anyway, you know, blah, 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 but they'll go like, and they'll be back clear. It's amazing the devices that they're using, that they're not taught this. They're picking it up from being in the street and where they live, the kind of lives they have, and they're big on politics, huge on politics.
What do you guys think of Obama? Matt, you better.
Something.
You got something today?
Yeah, he has something he's ready to read.
What do you think? That's a good question. What do you think of
Oh, Michelle Obama. Really? The Queen.
Obama.
Well, this is your symbol.
I feel like Obama, it's just the way that he says things. Like, he's like, in order for me to do something, y'all gotta make shit happen. I could be the president all damn day, but without y'all doing nothing about it, that means I can't do my job. So he's like, the movement starts with you, but you need a whole bunch of other people to move with you too, so that way you can storm the courts. That'll get back to me. Like, you can't tell me to do something and expect me to do it on my own, because I got the whole world on my back now. Y'all need to do this, and y'all need to make shit happen for your generation in order for me to help you. Because, you know, time is of the essence, but ain't nobody smelling shit nowadays. So he's just like, in order for me to do something, y'all have to do it for yourselves. And I can make what I can make happen. That's basically what he's saying.
Exactly what he said. Well, how do you react to that? You guys?
To add on to that, if I can, I feel like people these days that have been through things, a lot of people like to keep their mouth shut. And I'm not just saying that because I see people do that. I've been one of those people. I'm young, but there's a lot of stuff that I've gone through that I could have witnessed to somebody else that was going through the same thing, and it would have been easy for them to come out of it and to be able to move over and not go through the stuff that I went through. But people have to stop trying to be parents and start being transparent and tell people about their experience. People and parents and older people should tell people about the experience that they went through and how they got over it, so that young people these days don't end up falling into the same traps that people fell into before. And I feel like if everybody open up their mouths to one person, that one person is going to keep on opening up their mouths to multiple people, and then eventually one thing that you've done can reach and affect the nation.
Amen. Amen.
Now, I'm dying to hear this brother's poem. Let's hear this brother's poem too.
You want to say something?
I'll send you that.
Which one, Mr. McIntosh?
Oh, you my brother. This is the brother you need to speak to. Speak to Reggie.
Read what you feel on your heart, whichever one is.
Okay, I'm gonna read this one because at least Mr. McIntosh was like, oh my God, we gotta get this one published. So I guess there's something about it.
Stop for 1 second.
It's entitled Pain. It's entitled Pain Never Goes on Lunch. And it's, the background about it is things that I've been through that it's not things like being in shelters and stuff like that, but it's in the pain that I felt that a lot of people didn't understand that was around me, and a lot of people looked at me like I was weird for having depression issues and feeling certain type of ways. But this is entitled Pain Never Goes on Lunch.
Just speak a little louder.
This is entitled Pain Never Goes on Lunch. Never been in a shelter, maybe only low on food. They always said to me, you got a good dude. But what they didn't understand was the pain deep within. The feelings of the past tried to take over my life, always making me feel like I was the cause of this misery and strife. Or I always thought that I was the main cause. I always had a way of being the bully's main cause. So I look back and I said, why have I never been the best? Somebody tell me who's playing chess, because I feel like a mistreated little pawn. Tell me, will I ever see the break of my dawn? But what made my mom leave? Be honest, no lies. Questions still linger. Why? Tell me why. I was always looked down on, dude. I've tried drinking and smoking. Trust you don't know all the stuff that I've been through. I've been through too much. I always feel like I'm the outcast of the Brady Bunch. I don't want to dump my stuff on you. All I did was to come to encourage you. Let your mind, body, and soul keep in touch, and remember that pain never goes on lunch.
Why you reading so fast?
It's always been like that.
Is it nervousness or anxiety?
No, it's just I've always been a fast talker.
When you get to the point where you have a quarrel, it could be just one set of ears. Do whatever you can to make sure every single word is crystal clear. So just try to slow it down, because right now you're preaching to the choir. Be real listeners. Like, you may want to do that for other classmates or something because they ain't really paying attention. The teacher says, oh, right now we're quiet. That basically we gonna listen. So it's more change the tempo. Don't think about reading slow or fast. Just change the tempo. But give yourself room to breathe. Right. Give yourself some room to breathe, because it's not an easy thing to write. It wasn't an easy thing to experience, the thing you're talking about. So that can get your heart moving a little bit and blah 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 blah. It's really about that. It's really about this, how your body functions, how your internal organs function. So if you're telling us a story and some of it's got some pain and darkness in it, then it would not be surprising if your heart starts going like this. The minute your heart's going like that, you're going to start getting more anxious and more nervous. It's going to pick you up, pick you up, pick you up, pick you up. So you have to consciously, you don't have a heart attack or nothing. All right? I'm serious. You don't want to kill yourself. Not because of some beautiful stuff that you wrote, but you anxious about reading it because you don't know what they'll. We're the choir. We're going to go. If we don't like it, we may tell you, but we ain't going to be mean about it. So read it again, right, and just think, I'm amongst friends. These people are my friends. Or the choir. I could preach to the choir because they're going to be down with me 100%. So read it again. Yeah.
I want to hear every word you say.
Plus now, it's going on videotape, so it's being documented. So you don't know who may see it now, and what kind of an effect it could have on somebody who's in us. Is somebody's going to go like, wait a minute, he's talking about me? That's my situation. No, he knows my situation.
What you said about Obama, you might wind up on my show.
Okay, this is entitled Pain Never Goes on Lunch. Never been in a shelter, maybe only low on food. They always said to me, you got it good, dude. But what they didn't understand was the pain deep within. The feelings of the past tried to take over my life, always making me feel like I was the cause of this misery and strife. I always thought that I was the main cause. I always had a way of being the bully's main course. So I looked back and said, why have I never been the best? Somebody tell me who's playing chess, because I feel like a mistreated little pawn. Tell me, will I ever see the break of my dawn? But what made my mom leave? Be honest, no lies. Questions still linger. Tell me why. Tell me why. I was always looked down on. I've tried drinking, smoking. Trust you don't know the half of what I've been through. I've always been through too much. Always feeling like the outcast of the Brady Bunch. I don't want to dump all my stuff on you. All I did was to come and encourage you. Let your mind, body, and soul keep in touch, and remember that pain never goes on lunch.
He said the bully's main cause.
I know. And then I heard the chess reference in the second read.
It's really good. It's really good.
When I was little, about 7 or 8, I started writing in a notebook, and my dad used to check my bag, and he was like, what's this extra notebook? He has another subject I don't know about. He started flipping through it, and he was reading stuff, and he was like, wow. And I walked into my room, and he was in tears. I was like, Dad, what's wrong with you? He tried to hide the book from me. And I was like, were you going through my stuff? And he was like, no. So I reached under my pillow and grabbed out the book. I was like, this is just where I write my thoughts down. He was like, you're an amazing poet. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, this is just stuff that I feel. he was like, and then he pulled out an old book of stuff that my grandmother used to write. And he was like, you remind me of your great-grandmother so much. She was like, she used to sit, no matter where she was, she would sit down and pull out a pen and a paper and start writing stuff and just put it inside of a book. And she never called herself a poet. She was like, this is just stuff that I write. And he kind of pushed me out there in my school. My school didn't know that I wrote. My school had a poetry club. They asked me to join. And I was like, well, okay, I'll try it. And when I tried it, I ended up in Barnes and Noble 3 years in a row. So it was like, but then like when certain situations happened in my life, turning points, and I had actually started to push away from poetry. I had threw a lot of my poetry out, and I was like, I don't want to do poetry, period, nothing. Then I got here this year, and I met Elisa and Mr. McIntosh, and it was like, please, you have to show us what you got. And I was like, okay, I'll write you one thing, and then that's where this come from. And then it was supposed to be like a little 5-stanza a poem, and then it ended up being a, wow, this is a powerful, touching my life type of story. And the people that I read it to have been like, wow, that put me in tears. And I was just like, this is just stuff that's been inside of me for a while. No. She passed away 2 years before I was born.
So, how old are you?
15.
So it's actually a hard thing to grasp, but you have to understand that if you keep yourself open to the possibilities, your grandmother will channel through you. She will channel this stuff right through her stuff, right through you to that piece of paper. She will. It's in your DNA. It's part of your bloodstream and your blood system, you know. But that means you have to have even more responsibility to study the craft. You got a gift, all right? But the people that become really important are the ones that have this gift, but still do the research, still do the hard study to understand technique, to understand technical things about your craft. Because a lot of people, especially in our community, we think that technique hampers creativity. But what technique does, it frees your creativity because you're not drawing from all the emotion all the time. You're thinking, I need to create imagery in this particular line. That's technique, not sitting around waiting for something to inspire you, all right? Or you don't need, you don't want to keep pulling from the emotion in the brain. Use the technique to trigger you, all right, to write. Let that be the thing that triggers you, because the emotional stuff, it's not coming all the time. It's hardly ever going to come. Any of you are hardly ever going to just get slapped upside your head by a poem and it's going to tell you to write it. That's not going to happen too often. So you got to be constantly writing. Then you're oiled up and ready to go. Always. Then when it comes, it's like, people say, oh, I wrote this poem. It was like, people, oh, I love your poem. How long did it take you to write? It just came out. No, it didn't just come out. You've been writing all day long, 4 or 5 days in a row, boom, boom, just writing. Then all of a sudden, boom, the gem comes. It just drops itself. Then here comes your grandmother. Okay, I think he's ready for this one. I think he's ready. Here's a moment. Let me drop this on him right now. Let me just drop it on him. But technique for everybody in the room. Technical skills. Because then, if you got great technical skills, then you can improvise. And when you have the skill to be an improvisational artist, I don't care if it's visual, saxophone, writer, poet, it frees everything. And what you'll find, it'll all collapse on top of itself. Everything, music, dance, video. You'll start, if you're a writer, all of that will wind up on the page. Every dance move you love, every piece of food that you love, every movie you've ever seen, it'll all fall onto the page. And then you're like, wow. But your main goal is to stay open for your grandmoms to kick it down to you.
I was thinking the same thing.
Kick it down to you.
Yeah. I was actually in a spirit of a visit. You have any dreams about it?
I've had things like weird conversations with my great-grandmother, who is my great-grandmother's daughter. And it's like, when I have conversations with her, it's like it doesn't feel like I was talking to her. Like, I've had conversations with her where I know, oh yeah, this is grandma, I'm talking to grandma. And it's been conversations that I've had with her, like, how do you know this if I've never told you this? And then, like, where she's told me experiences that I've been through, and it's like, but it's not really her telling me experiences that I've been through. It's talking about stuff that she's seen her mother go through, and stuff that I was like, wow, this is stuff that I've been through, stuff that I watched my dad go through, stuff that I watched my parents go through. And it's like, who are you, grandma right now, or are you just my inspirational speaker right now? Like, it was just like, then I started to figure, like, people always told me that I had my great-great-grandmother's spirit, and I was like, well, I've never met this woman a day in my life, so I don't know what y'all talking about. And then, like, people was like, she's always been a people person, she's always liked to help, and I'm like, well, I do that because I feel like it's just the right thing to do. And they're like, no, you have conversations with her, you just don't know it. And there's been times that I've woke up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning every night, and it's just like I'm sitting there rocking back and forth in my bed, and it's just like I hear stuff out of nowhere, and I pull out my book and I just start writing. And then it's like, I don't know what else to put to this, so it's like, listen, go back to sleep, and when you wake up in the morning, see if you see something else. And then sometimes, like, there was a short poem that I wrote called The Tree Was My Friend. It took me 2 or 3 weeks to write that, and I was like, I'm waking up 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what to do with it. Staying up from like 4 to 5:30 in the morning. I don't know what to do with it. Knowing that I have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to roll back over and go back to sleep, and it's like something keeps nudging me like, no, you got to get up. And I'm like, what? I don't know what else to do with the poem. It's nothing else for me to do. And then it was like, whenever I feel like there's nothing else to do, that means that I need to push harder and get there, get it to be something else to do. And I was like, that's really been really good for me, because it was just like, there's been times that I just felt like, listen, the whole world is turning on me, my parents is turning on me, family's turning on me, what else am I gonna do? Like, there's nothing else to do. And before, it was easy to turn to music, but now it's like, people use music against me, and it's like, I've had people write hatred songs about me, and I'm like, all right, so now I don't want to do music anymore either. So, but then it's like, poetry is like, listen, no matter what I say, this paper's gonna listen to me, this paper is gonna be able to, when I read it back, this paper is going to be an inspiration to me, even though it's my story. It has to touch me before it touches somebody else, because it's my life. It came from me. So.
That's already stolen. The paper's going to listen to me. That's gone. I'm taking it.
Can you say your whole name in the camera? We need to make sure we get your name. Can he say his whole name and spell it?
Oh, my name is Tyshawn Brown. First name Tyshaun, and last name Brown.
And how often does your grandmother come to you?
Just about every night. Like,
Every night?
I just.
So you hit it right there, exactly what I saw.
There's sometimes.
You're blessed, my friend. You're blessed. Believe it. Just keep talking, and she's going to keep talking to you too. And what was her name?
Ida.
He just said it.
Ida.
Oh, Ida.
Was she named after Ida B. Wells?
Not sure.
Check it out.
But it was
You know
like,
who it is?
yeah.
I know.
It was just situations where, like, there's been times that I feel like she founded the church that I go to, and it's like, when I go there, it's like, okay, I feel no matter what I'm going through, I could go to church and feel like, oh my God, this is the place. My grandmother probably sat on this bench. Let me sit here and just think about it. Let me think about her, even though I don't know her. Let me think about her, because, and it's like, people tell me, like, I'll feel something someplace in the church, and I move there. Like, people be like, why do you move so much? Why do you move so much? And my pastor, who's actually her nephew, that was her road dog. She used to come pick him up, listen to me going to church, and he said, your grandmother used to sit right there in that spot all the time, and then I used to sit right there in that spot all the time before I became the pastor of your church. And I was like, it's just, I guess we just have that connection, because I sit there and then I write down stuff, and my dad's like, listen, your grandmother has wrote stuff like this before. And I'm like, I've never met her, so how can I do stuff like this? And I'm like,
you know, you're blessed because you've got the blessing early in life, and never be afraid of it, because God is real. You know, and when you learn it early in life, your whole life is fearless. You know, just keep listening. God bless you.
That's good.
Your name again? I'm
Tyshawn
Last name?
Brown.
Yeah, we got it.
You young lady? You have a poem and you want to talk about Obama?
Yes.
Tell me, you're telling us your impression of Obama affection.
Honestly, Obama is my inspiration because at times I feel like I want to give up. But then when I look at Obama, I feel like he didn't give up. Also being the first black president, that's a that's just a really big thing. And I feel like, why should I give up if Obama didn't give up? He makes me feel like I want to keep on walking with my head up tall, you know? So I feel like as a black man and a black woman, I feel like we have something to look up to. And I feel like nowadays, in our generation, we are what we see. We have a lot of music videos, a lot of things like that, but people saying that they're giving back, but what exactly are you giving back to your community? So when I look at people like Obama, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, things like that, I feel like they're fighting, but we should be fighting as well. Why just sit back and relax and let our ancestors, our young kids that's about to grow up, look at all of these music videos and all of the things that women are becoming and just think it's okay? Because, thank you.
Especially with Scandal. Especially with Scandal. I know Scandal is I know that us black Scandal is a show. A black woman is having an affair with the president. And no, it's a show. And I feel like Scandal, I know there's a lot of people who love Scandal, but I just was like, hold up, what did us black women suffer for to be the side hoe? When was that ever okay? I wanted to know, when was that ever okay for us black women to go through what we go through, for her to just stand there and sleep with the president, knowing that he's married, and then confide
The
against
script is written by a black woman, isn't it?
But I since
Talk about it.
Whoa. That doesn't make it right, but
I have some issues with it.
and also Mary Jane.
No, I think that's important that you know.
Mary Jane is a I love that show. Mary Jane is actually I'm sorry, Mary Jane is a show that comes on BET, and it's about a woman who's a lawyer, and she's a real great lawyer, but it also tells a side behind that. It talks about how she's having an affair with a married man, but it also tells about why she does it, and it also shows that she is very insecure. And I feel like we let men sometimes get the best of us. We let them break us sometimes. And it's just that these shows out here really tell true stories, and sometimes it's just sad. It's like, as a black woman, why do I let a man break me down but also pick me back up? Why I can't pick myself back up? Why I have to let a man do that for me?
well, what's the show Obama movie? There's the
Michelle
wing
Obama.
movie. She's the wind beneath his wing. I mean, he would be nowhere without her.
Yeah.
When he goes home at night, he's got mommy to wait for him to lick his wounds.
I really enjoy Maya Angelou, and when she spoke about sheroes, and that's actually one of Michelle Obama's biggest influences. And I feel like everybody should have a shero, whether you a grown woman, a grown man, a grown woman, a little boy. And I feel like I do have sheroes because when my mother left, I had aunts and my grandmother who came and sat there with me at night and put me in the bathtub at night and sat there with me when I was crying, asking where my mother was, when she would call and say that she was coming to get me and then ended up not being there. And I would watch Maya Angelou on TV and I'd be like, wow, why can't I have a mother who was like that? I'm pretty sure that she's one of the greatest people in the world. But what I think about is there had to be something that happened to my mother to make her do what she did to me. So I can't blame that all on my mother, because if men and women would take care of their responsibilities from early in their life, then a lot of problems that we have today wouldn't happen. I'm pretty sure that if somebody shared their story with my mother, about the same thing that they went through, then she would have been able to approach me differently, the situation with me differently, and we would have still had a better relationship than what we do now. So to me, I feel like everybody should have a shero, because I mean, I have way more than one. I've had principals in my schools, teachers, people that I don't even know that just came up to me and be like, listen, you have a great spirit. I don't know what it is about you. I don't know what you're going through, but you're going to be able to make it through it. And like, I've had times that I've sat on a train and cried because there's been people that just came up to me and be like, listen, I'll say, excuse me, or I'll say, oh, thank you for holding it up for me. Thank you for letting me have a seat. Have a good day. And they'll be like, I don't know what it is about your voice. I don't know what it is about what you just said to me. I don't know what it is about the way that you're looking at me, but there's something in you that everybody needs to experience, everybody needs to hear. And there's gonna be a lot of people, a lot of young people that can witness, that you can witness to, and a lot of people that can hear your story and that'll be blessed by it. And I'm like, there's just countless number of times that I've heard this from people that I don't know, forgetting about the people that know me, my mother and my father who have told me this, people that I don't know, just countless random people on the train that have told me that Mr. McIntosh didn't even know me and he told me something like that. And I was like, I don't know what it is about me. Like, I feel like I've been told that I was rude. Like, I've been told that I was blunt with things and I was rude, but people have come back to me and say, hey, I noticed that you wasn't really rude. It was just one of the times that you were being real with people, and some people can't take realness and they think that it's rudeness. Your realness, they think that it's rudeness. And I'm like, because I'm being real doesn't mean that I'm trying to be rude. I'm just trying to let you know that this is this and that's that. I'm not going to stand for certain things, and certain things I'm going to help you with. And if you fall, I'll always be there to pick you up, no matter what we done been through. Me and Elisa, we done been in arguments like I don't know what. And when I don't feel well, when I cry, here she comes running out the classroom. What's wrong? When I was getting ready to fight, here she comes running out the classroom. No, don't get yourself a 30-day suspension. And I'm looking like, wait, wasn't we just arguing 2 weeks ago? I respect her because no matter what, she always comes back, and it's respect there. And it's like, listen, I don't care what we go through. I'm going to put that to the side if you're hurting, and if you're feeling depressed, and if you're going through something, I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to just try my best to help you. And I was like, that was a great inspiration for me. And I feel like if I could do that for a whole bunch of people, then it'd be great.
See, you have an early start on what the true essence of man is. You have to be rationalized and understand that the earth God here is a female. You come from the womb. See, there's your God. That's what created you, woman. Most men are too busy being macho and messing over with it, and think that's the manly thing to do. But you have God's essence in you already. You can feel it. You vibrate. Just keep it going.
I feel like
it's a blessing. And everybody can feel it, especially women.
I feel like messing over women is not right. I feel like loving somebody.
Go to wrap this up the next class.
Okay. I feel like love between a woman. I feel like love and a woman is not being with so many women. It's only treating one woman right. And to me, that's amazing. Just the fact of being able to love one woman instead of messing over a whole bunch, I feel like that's true love. That's really the essence of something, and it doesn't even have to be in a relationship. You being there for your mother who's sick, you being there for your grandmother who's sick, you treating that one woman right is better than you being with every woman on the planet. That's just how I feel.
Sometimes we're blinded by loving one. There's like for instance, for example, I was like in 9th grade, right? 9th grade, I was the worst student ever. After 8th grade, I was like, oh, I'm going to 9th grade. I'm going to do so good. I came from FDA too, so I only went a couple floors up, I guess. It's switched. I left out of 9th grade with a 65.56 because I wasn't on the right track. I was following wrong crowds, and I was doing what I wanted to do. And it was all based off on what I was going through at home. And my mom, I live in a shelter, and my mom, she has a problem with finding love but she finds love in the wrong places. Like, she sees these men on the street and she falls in love with them because she thinks they're so humble and they're so nice, but then the only way they can show their love is through their hands. So that's what she's been going through. Like, she constantly keeps going after men who hit her, and then it's a problem, and then my sister leaves, and then everything becomes a problem, and then I'm the only one by myself. And I was stressed out, so that's why I was never coming to school. I was always hanging out with this girl and this girl. I was attracted to baggage because my baggage wasn't enough, so I was carrying everybody else's baggage. But then when I saw that 65.56, I was like, oh, like it hit me. I said, okay, 1, I'm in a shelter. 2, I'm going through some stuff nobody will probably believe, and nobody will probably believe me because they're probably going to think it's a sob story. And 3, if I'm ever going to get myself out of this situation, I need to start by getting an education. And I was seen as a D. I was seen as a D and an F student with an A mind. And nobody ever had the chance of seeing my A mind because I was too focused, because those D's overpowered it. So then 10th grade to now, I've kind of reshaped. I came back 10th grade, I was like, no, this is not happening. I'm not doing what I did last year. Those friends that I had, they gotta go. Everybody has to go. And I humbled myself, and like at the end of 10th grade, I had like a 72. My transcript, and now I have a 76 going higher. So I had to transition my life in order for me to deal with what I was going through. So instead of me, I had a bad attitude with everybody because of what I going through, and it wasn't fair. So I basically humbled myself. I humbled myself to everybody I came upon, because you never know who's going to be there in the future. You never know who's your future boss, your future friend, your future whatever. So me and Tyshawn, we had this bittersweet relationship. Like, we'd be in Spanish, and then he'd say something, and I'm just like, you need to chill out with that. And he's like, no, Brooklyn, I'm not going to chill out. And it'll be back and forth. And then I'd see him the next day with a frown on his face. I come up to him, and we start talking, and I tell him it gets better, because you don't know what anybody else has gone through, because it will get better, and it probably will. Me and Sierra, we wasn't the best of the friends at first, but then she started spitting some, I started spitting some, and then it started going off with us going back and forth. We became best friends, and
thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
No.
Wow. He's gonna be back. I know he's
I'm going downstairs with y'all anyway, because I'm going to y'all class.